The moon in 2194 was no longer a silent, dusty wasteland. Cities shimmered like crystal constellations, floating lightly above the surface of magnetic fields. Hexagonal domes connected into glowing towns called meg-hexes, each stabilized against the moon's weak gravity. Within those domes, residents could walk, cook, and sleep without floating away like helium balloons on a child's party. And life, surprisingly, went on like it did on Earth, only quieter, colder, and occasionally a lot more dangerous. Daisy Catliya had lived in a meg-hex since joining the Lunar Botanical Advancement Unit, a title that sounded impressive but meant long hours and little sleep. She wasn't glamorous. Her socks never matched, her hair lived in a permanent messy bun that seemed to have its own agenda, and her datapad was more often lost than found. But she had brilliance, especially when it came to plants. Her specialty was hydroponics and water sustainability. And she often talked to her plants as if they were colleagues. "You're doing wonderfully today, Hardy," she whispered to a row of hardy leaf beans, tapping a leaf lightly. "Yes, yes, grow strong. I need you to survive the moon. You hear me?" This is when things become disaster. It all began on an ordinary lunar morning. Daisy was sipping thick mocha gel from a squeeze tube while checking on her hardy leaf beans. The data looked perfect. Humidity stable, light absorption excellent. Then suddenly, the laboratory trembled, sirens blared, and comms erupted with shouting. Captain Derek's voice cut through the chaos like a sharp knife. "Impact detected. All personnel brace." The moon shuddered again. Daisy clutched the railing as a deep echo rolled through the hex-domes. Later, astronomers would say the meteor had slipped past detectors as though wearing an invisible cloak. They managed to destroy half of it, the wrong half. And the other half crashed into the lunar aqueduct, the massive containment structure of purified water. Nets tore. Units burst. Thousands of gallons of precious water drifted upward, glittering in low gravity before escaping into space like lost gems. The next Earth resupply was 2 weeks away, and the water it carried was barely enough for half of the colony. Daisy stared at the emergency broadcast. Her heart dropped like a stone into a black void. "No water? We're done," she whispered. But later that night, scanning geological maps and data, she spotted something remarkable. North of the colonies, beyond areas the humans dared to explore, lay Silent Plateau, a wild stretch of lunar wilderness that everyone avoided because of its unpredictable gravity. Magnetic anomalies and strange storms. But beneath the silver dunes and black cliffs, Daisy saw a massive ice glacier. Untouched, viable, ancient. If they could reach it, they could survive. Daisy practically ran to the command headquarters. "I found water," she panted, under Silent Plateau. Silence filled the room. No one liked Silent Plateau. No one ever wanted to go there. "Form a team," Derek said calmly, his voice firm but measured. "We leave at Lunar Dawn." The team came together quickly, but not entirely voluntary. Daisy insisted that Elian Fross, the intern who panicked at literally everything, to be added. She had watched him in the lab, nervous and jittery, but always producing brilliant, unconventional ideas. "He got potential," she'd say to Derek, and if we ignore him, we'll regret it, trust me. Elian had argued, pleaded, and tried to hide behind the sack of plant pots. None of it worked. He was now on the mission, trembling, muttering to himself about possible way the moon could kill him. Do we have to go? What if the moon decides to explode or send some sort of magical death beam? The rest of the team included Captain Derek, fearless and calm even when a black hole might be opening beneath him, astronaut July Merek, sharp-minded and dry-witted, and astronaut Jerry Trakos, who loved snacks and hated danger, and carried a small photo of his family back on Earth everywhere he went. Whenever Jerry got nervous, he would kiss that photo for luck. Before leaving, the group gathered in Daisy's Meg Hex lab for one last team bonding session, a tradition she insisted on. They sat among the plants, the green leaves glowing softly under artificial light. Daisy spoke to her plants, then to the team. If these little guys can survive in nutrient solutions that are 90% water, I think we can survive the silent plateau. Elian, still fidgeting, finally piped up. Derek, why do you never smile? You look like you ate gravity for breakfast and enjoying it. The room erupted in laughter. Derek's dim, unamused expression didn't change, but even Julie snorted. Yeah, lighten up, Captain. Maybe the moon's cold and don't froze your sense of humor too. Elian grinned nervously. I can't help it. I notice things. You notice panic. Derek deadpanned, which made everyone laugh again, including Daisy. Even Jerry let out a snort that almost knocked over his snack pack. The next day, they set out in the lunar crawler, a tank-like machine with spider legs, lights slicing through the endless grey plains. At night, the moon could feel unnervingly empty. Elian was wide-eyed, clutching his pillow like it was a life raft. Jerry, trying to calm himself, kissed the photo of his family tucked on his pocket and whispered, Don't worry, I'll get us home. Silent Plateau was strange from the first step. The sensors flashed warnings. Sudden gravity dips, magnetic pulses, and electrostatic surges. The ground seemed alive beneath the crawler. Then the storms came. Lunar storms didn't blow wind or rain. They swirled charged particles, minerals, and shards of glowing crystals. The vehicle shook violently. Daisy grabbed her equipment. Julie shouted instructions. Jerry held into a railing, muttering encouragements to the photo of his family. Elian screamed into a blanket. We're going to be shattered, imploded, electrocuted, vaporized. Ah! The storm raged for 8 hours. When it cleared, the glacier appeared, vast and glowing faintly blue, embedded into the lunar crust like a frozen ocean of light. Daisy scanned it with her instrument. Confirmed. Water, ice, deep clean and untouched. Jerry whistled. So, we saved the moon? Only if we can extract it, Julie said. Elian, still shaking, raised a hand. Maybe controlled phase thermal vacuum? Like heat it gently, condense it and then collect it? I saw a similar concept in Earth labs. Daisy's eyebrows shot up. Explain, she told him. You heat the ice enough for vapor to form, then condense it into liquid, collect it into nets, and finally freeze the liquid inside the nets so it is safe to transport, he said too casually. Daisy stared at him for a long moment. Then A smile spread across her face. "Elian, that could actually work," she told him. Derek nodded. "Build it," he ordered. For hours they assembled the exterior, stabilized the ground, and calibrated it carefully. Daisy oversaw the procedure, occasionally kneeling by machinery and murmuring encouragements to her tiny plants in the lab. "Grow strong, Hardy. We need you." The extractor warmed the glacier into microphase cycles. Mist rose from the ice, steady and controlled. Inside the chamber, warm condensation coils turned the vapor into liquid droplets. The droplets steamed down channels into hexagon polymer nets below. Each net filled slowly, glowing faintly as it collected the pristine meltwater. Once full, a cold pulse froze the water instantly, creating stable ice blocks ready for transport in low gravity. The nets glimmered like captured moons. Elian stared at them in awe. I can't believe it worked." Then he fainted, hitting the floor with a soft thump. The team filled 20 nets during the return trip. The silent plateau seemed almost polite, letting them pass unscathed. Back at the Meghex city, Daisy insisted on lab testing before distribution. She thawed samples, ran pH tests, mineral screenings, microbe scans, radiation checks, and heavy metal analysis. The results were perfect. "It's clean, safe, and pure," she whispered. The purification systems processed the water, remineralizing it before flowed it into colony reservoirs. Families cheered, children waved. Jerry kissed the photo of his family again, grinning through tears. Elian was trembling but smiling, still muttering every few seconds about what could have gone wrong, though now it was more of a delighted panic. Daisy's name went into the Lunar Hall of Science under the title "The Woman Who Found Water in Desert of Stars." Below it, Elian Fross, intern who panicked heroically. Silent Plateau remained strange. The glaciers slowly replenished, but the moon lived again, glowing under the magnetic lights of hexagonal cities, held together by brave scientists, astronauts, and one extremely nervous but brilliant intern who had learned that panic and genius sometimes went in hand.